It was raining the night Alexander Knight fired the woman who would change his life forever. Thunder cracked across the sky as Maya knelt on the cold marble floor of the Knight mansion, carefully polishing the surface until it reflected the crystal chandelier above her. Her hands were trembling, not because she was afraid of the storm, but because she was afraid of him. Alexander Knight, 38, billionaire chief executive, widower, a man whose name alone could silence a boardroom. The front doors burst open. His shoes hit the marble hard. Fast, angry, dangerous. He didn't notice the freshly polished floor. His foot slipped slightly, not enough to fall, just enough to embarrass him. And Alexander Knight did not tolerate embarrassment. His eyes slowly lowered to the woman on her knees. "You," he said coldly. Maya froze. I'm sorry, sir. The floor was still drying. Get up. She stood quickly, heart pounding. You're fired. The words hit harder than the thunder outside. Sir, please, I need this job. I don't repeat myself. Her throat tightened. Humiliation burned in her chest as other staff members watched in silence. She lowered her head. Understood, Mr. Knight. She turned toward the door. And that's when it happened. Small footsteps thundered down the grand staircase. Wait! A tiny voice echoed through the mansion. 6-year-old Ethan Knight ran barefoot across the marble floor. He threw his arms around Maya's waist. Don't fire her! Alexander's expression hardened. Ethan, let go. The little boy looked up at his father, eyes filled with tears. You can't fire her. Why not? Alexander asked sharply. Ethan's voice broke. Because she's my mommy. Silence swallowed the mansion whole. And in that moment, everything changed. Alexander's world did not tilt. It froze. Ethan, he said carefully. What did you just say? The boy tightened his grip around Maya. She's my mommy. Maya's face drained of color. Ethan, sweetheart. Alexander's jaw clenched. That is not something you joke about. I'm not joking, Ethan cried. She sings the song Mommy sings in my dreams. The air thickened. Maya slowly knelt in front of Ethan. I think Mr. Knight is upset. You should go upstairs. No, Ethan shouted. She's the only one who listens to me. Alexander turned to the head housekeeper. Why is my son attached to a cleaner? The housekeeper swallowed nervously. She sometimes brings him cookies when the nannies are busy. Alexander's eyes snapped back to Maya. You were hired to clean, not to get close to my son. Maya's voice was barely steady. I never meant to overstep, sir. Clearly you did. Ethan began crying harder. If she leaves, I'm leaving too. Thunder roared again. Alexander closed his eyes briefly. He had lost his wife 2 years ago. Since then, Ethan had refused every nanny, refused therapy, refused school events. And now this. Fine, Alexander said finally. Maya's heart stopped. You're not fired. Relief flooded Ethan's face. But, Alexander continued coldly, you will remain strictly professional. No personal involvement with my son. Maya nodded slowly. Yes, sir. But as she stood, Alexander noticed something. A necklace. A small silver pendant. One he had seen before. Years ago. He said nothing. But suspicion had already begun. That night, the mansion was quiet. Too quiet. Alexander stood outside Ethan's bedroom. Inside, he heard something. Singing. Soft. Gentle. Familiar. Maya sat beside Ethan's bed, brushing his hair back as she sang a lullaby. Alexander's chest tightened. He knew that song. His late mother used to sing it to him, but he had only shared it once. One night, 7 years ago, with a woman whose name he never asked. A rainy night, a charity gala, too much wine, one mistake, or maybe not a mistake. Alexander stepped into the room. Maya immediately stopped singing. I thought I told you. He can't sleep without it, she whispered. Ethan was already asleep, peaceful. For the first time in months, Alexander looked at his son, then at her. How do you know that song? She hesitated. My mother used to sing it. A lie. Alexander felt it. He stepped closer. Look at me. She did. And in her eyes, he saw recognition, fear, and something else. History. That's when he noticed Ethan's wrist as the blanket shifted. A small crescent-shaped birthmark. Alexander's breath caught. He had the same mark. So did his father. Generations of it. Coincidence? Or something far more dangerous? The next morning, Alexander made a phone call. Run a DNA test. 3 days felt like 3 years. Maya avoided his gaze. Ethan grew even more attached. And Alexander watched, analyzed, calculated. Finally, the envelope arrived. Alexander stared at it in his office. He had built billion-dollar companies, survived corporate wars, buried a wife. But this made his hands tremble. He opened it. 99.98% probability. Ethan Knight, biological son of Alexander Knight. The room spun. Memories flooded back. That night, the woman, her soft voice, her eyes, Maya. He stormed downstairs. She was in the kitchen, alone. Explain. She froze. He threw the DNA results on the counter. Her hands shook as she read it. You knew. Silence confirmed it. How dare you? His voice thundered. You kept my son from me. Tears filled her eyes. I didn't want your money. Then what did you want? Her voice cracked. I wanted him to know you. Alexander blinked. What? I found out who you were after I was pregnant. I tried contacting your office. I was blocked every time. He frowned. I never received anything. They said I was lying. Pain twisted her face. So I raised him alone. I worked 3 jobs. I moved cities. And when I heard you were looking for new mansion staff, she swallowed. I just wanted him to see his father, even if it was from a distance. Alexander's anger faltered. You manipulated your way into my house. No, she whispered. I protected my child. Footsteps interrupted them. Ethan stood there, scared. Are you yelling at Mommy? Alexander's heart stopped again. Mommy. The word felt different now. Heavy. Real. Maya knelt. Sweetheart. But Ethan ran to Alexander instead. Don't make her cry. That shattered something inside him. Because for the first time, his son chose him. That night Ethan developed a high fever. Panic erupted. Doctors rushed in. Alexander stayed by his son's side. So did Maya. They didn't argue. Didn't fight. They just cared. Together. At 3 a.m., Ethan finally stabilized. Exhausted, Maya nearly collapsed. Alexander caught her. For the first time he held her. Not as a billionaire. Not as an employer. But as a father. And maybe, as something more. You should have told me, he said quietly. I was afraid, she admitted. Of me. Yes. The honesty hurt. But it was deserved. He had been cold. Cruel. Untouchable. I don't want to fight you, he said. I don't want your money, she repeated softly. He looked at her. Really looked at her. You deserve more than cleaning my floors. And you deserve to know your son. Silence. Then he made a decision. 2 weeks later. Press conference. Board members furious. A scandal will destroy investor confidence. Marrying a cleaner? Your image. Alexander adjusted his tie onto the stage. Cameras flashed. This conference was meant to address rumors. He paused. Maya stood backstage, trembling. Ethan held her hand. Alexander continued. The rumors are true. Gasps filled the room. He extended his hand. Come here. Maya stepped onto the stage. The world watched. This woman, he said firmly, is the mother of my son. Reporters exploded with questions. He silenced them with one sentence. And soon, she will be my wife. Maya's breath caught. He turned to her softly. If you'll have me. Tears streamed down her face. Yes. Ethan ran between them. Alexander lifted him. For the first time in years, he smiled. Not because he won. Not because he dominated. But because he finally understood something priceless. Love cannot be controlled. can only be chosen. And that night, he chose them. If you love stories about forbidden love, secrets that change lives, and powerful men brought to their knees by love, then you're exactly where you belong. Welcome to Forbidden Hearts TV. Subscribe now so you never miss a story that will make your heart race and your emotions spiral. Because trust me, this story is only getting started. Now let's see what Alexander discovers next.